Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mayday Media, where we're pointing out a few articles on the net. First one here, it's been 30 years since food ate up this much of your income. Has it been 30 years? We'll take a look and see. And I was not aware it was ever quite that high. However, market thingies don't lie, do they? Next story is going to be AI generated voices of the dead to push for gun control. This is not only gross, but it's very spooky. However, you bet your butt they're going to use whatever they can do to pull on your heartstrings. They'll have these AI generated Sora videos along with these AI generated voices with these kids. Now, we're going to go over them both. Before, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the video. Others might want to hear this stuff. Kind of very interesting, in my opinion. Anyway, here we go. The last time Americans spent this much of their money on food, George Herbert Walker Bush was in office. Terminator 2 Judgment Day was in theaters, and CNC Music Factory was rocking the Billboard charts. Boy, and I remember those days. I was about 12 or so. Eating continues to cost more, even as overall inflation has erased from the blistering pace consumers endured throughout 22 and 23. Prices at restaurants and eaters are up 5.1% compared to January 2023, while grocery costs increased 1.2% during the same period, Labor Department shows. Relief isn't likely to arrive soon, restaurant and food company executives said, as they're still grappling with rising labor costs and some ingredients such as cocoa that are only getting more expensive. Consumers said that they will find ways to cope. If you look historically after periods of inflation, there's really no period you could point to where food prices go back down, said Steve Callahan, executive chief of the snack interview. They tend to be sticky. So in other words, inflation might drop, but the prices stay the same. 91 U.S. consumers spent 11.4% of their disposable personal income on food, according to data from the U.S. Agriculture Department. At the same time, households were still dealing with steep food price increases following an inflationary period during the 1970s. More than 3 decades later, food spending has retained that level. Consumers spend 11.3% of their disposable income on food, according to the most recent USDA data available. Now, back then, the big difference was that utilities weren't as much, housing wasn't as much, land wasn't as much. People were a little bit more agrarian too. I mean, my family and grandparents had gardens, so they could substitute costs and things like that. Again, I don't remember hearing much about it. Again, I was just a boy, so it wasn't really nothing I was paying attention to. Here's the chart, though. Now, here's 1990. As you can see, at 11.3% inflation with a dollar that had more value. And then here we are now, around almost the same. Now, groceries are up. This says maybe 5.7%. Dining out is up closely around the same. But it's still cheaper than it was in the 90s. Now, dining outs really went up. But in most markets, what goes down, must come back up. And this is no different. If a guy was smart, he'd have been investing right around here in commodities. And then another big boom here you could have bought. But it's, hindsight's better than foresight. Many diners have said they are going out less frequently or skipping appetizers while buying cheap store brands more frequently at supermarkets or seeking out promotions or deals offered via apps. This is starting to chip away at some sales for food markets. Yeah, you bet your ass it has. Denny's, Heinz, they all talk about it. Mondelez, Oreo Maker. The minimum wage, that's going to really kill you. Restaurant chains said they're trying to operate more efficiently to help defray wage increase, but they also expect to raise prices. Referring to California's 25% minimum wage increase for fast food workers employed by large chains set to take effect in April. Pricing is going to be a part of the puzzle. Yeah, and they're just bringing robots. But then they're going to have to pay people to maintain these robots and build them. So Zabinski, professor of Norman, Illinois, said they sometimes split a $20 steak and side dish at Texas Roadhouse or a large sandwich. Nonetheless, our daily and monthly expenditures still seem higher than even 2 years ago. Yeah, because it is higher than even 2 years ago. Although it's rare for food prices to retreat, it's also usual for prices to skyrocket as much as they have in recent years, said T.D. Cohen. He said he expects grocery prices to decline for a period this year as food makers come under pressure from consumers and retailers. In other words, it's not going to last long. Just like a gallon of gas, it becomes a new price and people get begrudgingly used to it. Yeah, exactly. They slowly rise them, or they rise them quick. And that is, gas is that way. They'll jack it up in a month, over $1.50, and then it'll take you a year for it to come back down 30 cents. Anywho, we'll get to this creepy one here. AI generated voices of the dead to push for gun control. Gun control groups March of Our Lives and Change the Ref are using AI generated voices of deceased loved ones in hopes of influencing lawmakers to pursue gun control measures. One such voice is of Joaquin Oliver, who was killed during the February 14, 28 massacre at a Parkland, Florida school. The convicted gunman Nicholas Cruz received a life sentence. Lawmakers will hear the AI-generated voice intended to represent Oliver, who says, 6 years ago I was a senior at Parkland. Many students and teachers were murdered Valentine's Day with an AR-15 assault rifle. It's been 6 years and you've done nothing, blah, 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 blah. Oliver's voice is one of 6 voices created in the new campaign launched last week by the gun control group. My wife and I have been trying to use our voices for the last 6 years nonstop. Yeah, Since the campaign launched, more than 65,000 voice calls have been sent to lawmakers, according to the Shot Line, which is helping the facility to the effort to influence Congress. The campaign comes 2 weeks after the FCC unanimously decided that using AI-generated voices and robocall scams targeting consumers is illegal. Yeah, okay, exactly. So why can't we say that robot voices isn't illegal in targeting consumers? Because that would be they would be targeting using this stuff in a sense. But I don't know. Maybe it's different with advertising. The only thing we can hope for, guys, is that because of the power of Sora, the power of Chat GPT, the fact that you can do this with these voices, if they use some woke type of advertising company, we're safe, because it'll be rejected and hated, terrible that we wrote incorrectly, all kinds of stuff like it, as you see nowadays. But if they use a really good advertisement agency that really knows how to pull on you, I mean, you'll see people with guns think about turning them in just because of how they'll get you to feel. And that's scary. Just this whole thing's scary, using AI this way. I can see using it to make short stories and little small, movies or something, but using it to strip away your right, your republic, the right your republic you're given. Yeah, that's something else we got to keep an eye on, I guess. Anywho, like, subscribe. Toodaloo.